we're going to look at posterior muscles of this model next. We can see posteriorly, for one, this big old muscle here, it's sort of diamond shaped, is called the trapezius. And there's different parts of the trapezius. You get the upper, middle, and lower parts of the trapezius. On this side, we're looking at muscles that are deep to trapezius. So that what they've done is they've cut away trapezius in this view. So some of the muscles you can see just deep to trapezius would be things like your rhomboid muscles. Okay, so you have rhomboid minor and then rhomboid major. You can see what are called the Erector Spinae, which are basically muscles that can extend your trunk and keep your trunk erect. This one here is called Serratus posterior inferior, which I'm not sure if it's on your list. You can see some of the intercostal muscles in the posterior view as well. And if we go back up to the limb area, we see some of these scapular associated muscles. So we can see things like your deltoid, we can see the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, and then the teres muscles. You have teres major, teres minor. And then going back over to this side where we see that these are the more superficial muscles, again, we can see trapezius. And there's a big old muscle over here called latissimus dorsi. So all of this is latissimus dorsi. And again, we can see those scapula associated muscles from a different view. So you can still see our infraspinatus. Here's teres major. There's teres minor again. But they look a little differently because there's still other muscles now covering those. And if we move down now to the gluteal area, what we find is on this end we see a muscle called Gluteus Maximus. If you remove Gluteus Maximus, you can see these deeper muscles. So you find things like Gluteus Medius here, and other muscles nearby like Piriformis, the Gemellus, and then Quadratus femoris over here. But what we're more concerned with then are the posterior thigh muscles or the hamstrings. Now, on the lateral part of the posterior thigh, this is called biceps femoris. It's called biceps femoris because there's two parts to the muscle. We find this is the long head, and then there's a short head, which is a little bit more lateral. And then these muscles here more medially, we have two that are layered on top of each other. This one that's more superficial is called the semitendinosus. Deep to that, just below it, deep to it, this is called semimembranosus. So on this side, again, we can see semitendinosus, and then deep to it, this is semimembranosus. Now on the posterior leg, we would find our gastrocnemius. So here's gastrocnemius. And if we remove this gastrocnemius piece, what we find is that there are some muscles that are deeper. So deep to this gastrocnemius here, this is a muscle called Soleus, right here. So here's Soleus, which is deep to gastrocnemius. We can see that there are some muscles on the inferior side of the foot, or sort of the plantar side of the foot, and that's not on our list, so you don't need to worry about those.